The language of Freemasonry, the lexicon, the vocabulary, the words that you're going to use when it comes to explaining and discussing sensitive topics, is really quite useful. The language itself, using symbols, tends to neutralize the emotional charge of a given sort of situation. So, when you're having a conversation with somebody, for example, um, maybe about something that's happening untoward at work, or something uncomfortable that's happening in your personal life, using the Masonic language is a great way to have those conversations, and at the same time, not dig into the weeds in a way that brings a bunch of emotional sort of baggage with it. So when you're having these conversations with a brother, when you either need to advise a brother on his behavior, or you are looking for guidance yourself, it might be contextually appropriate um, to use those symbols to talk to a situation. So there's symbols that are where this is like easy and obvious, and there's symbols in the craft that are perhaps less so. But if you start with the easy and obvious ones, you'll move to the more subtle ones later. But there are things like as above, so below, for example, as a concept. It's a Masonic symbol. For those of you that are maybe have forgotten, as above, so below, it is actually from a little bit more of the Hermetic side of the symbolism. And basically, it's whatever exists in the heavens, as it were, is also extant internally, right? So it's as above, so below, as within, so without, kind of thing. And this is from the Amor Tablet of Hermes Trismegistus. Um, the idea, though, is that our interior and our exterior are inextricably linked. So the same thing is true. You're not going to be able to operate in a way that's not in accordance with kind of the overall order of the universe, which is all fine and good, right? But how does that translate? So let's say you're sitting here and you're trying to figure out, um, perhaps you're struggling with weight loss. Um, Weight loss is a really good example of mental health that could, at least for me personally, right? We'll start with the personal conversation. There are some folks that biologically have challenges with their weight, but in I would say 90% of the cases, from my personal conversations and experience, it is mental health. And so what that means is that typically weight is a reflection of your sort of a manifestation of a self understanding, or a negative self concept. So, and that manifests in addictive behaviors of all sorts. So, uh, when you want to have a conversation with somebody else about their weight, or when you're trying to have a conversation with yourself, one of the things that becomes obvious is that as above, so below, as within, so without kind of model starts to really become an obvious sort of point of conversation. So you go, well, if you're having trouble controlling your weight, is there sort of mental contributing factors there? Is this, strictly speaking, a behavioral issue? Or do you find that, for example, you eat whenever you feel anxious? Is it a reflection of how you feel about yourself, such that you don't feel lovable, and all of that, so that you essentially make sure that you don't look lovable from the outside? There are tons of kind of ways that these Masonic symbols plug into that, and by having the using that symbol, the as above, so below model, you can, or concept, you can really start to dig in and have that in a conversation where you can really get into a fairly deep, fairly specific place. Again, without the now tell me about your father conversation, or tell me about all the personal history that comes with it. You can just say, what about the current situation is something that, how is, for example, being, let's say, overweight, accomplishing a goal for you? Because that's a really great way to take that that concept as above, so below, and turn it into like, huh, I never really thought about it like that. And you can have a meaningful conversation with the brothers from the lodge. We're going to get into more this week about how to have those conversations when you don't have lodge members that can help, using things like GPT. So in future episodes this week, we're going to be digging into using some of these large language models to help you have those Masonic conversations, absent brothers in your lives that you can have it with. And so we'll get into that in future episodes. Thanks.